everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and this afternoon I'm out in the garden doing some weekend jobs. We've got the crows joining us today, so if you like crows, there might be a few crow sounds around. And I'm out in the garden getting some garden jobs done, and I thought I would just do a really good old garden vlog for you. A lot of you really seem to like these videos. I know I personally love watching what other people are getting up to in the garden, so I thought I would kind of just share the jobs that I'm doing this afternoon. But I think first I really need to go make a cup of tea to help me along with the garden work. That is a lot better. So this afternoon in the garden, what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how I am amending one of the garden beds to plant some garlic. I recently received my garlic order from Green Harvest, so I'll share with you what I got from them and share how I'm amending the beds, what I'm doing to prepare for growing some garlic. I've also got some wild tomatoes to prune today, so I'll share with you how I like to prune tomatoes and how I'm staking them up. Also give you a full update on a lot of the seedlings that I'm growing, and probably just have some rambly chats along the way because that's kind of how I seem to like doing YouTube videos. So I'll save like a full garden tour for another video where I kind of want to do a nice relaxing garden tour, because at the moment there's people next door doing some renovations, I think, or a lot of garden work, and to be honest, I kind of like hearing other people outside their houses doing yard work on the weekend. It makes me really happy, but I'm gonna save the kind of relaxing part for probably an early morning. So I'm going to head over to where that bag of cow manure is and start planting this bed for the garlic that I just bought. Right, the sun is kind of setting at the moment, but it's quite bright in this video, so the lighting may change a little bit as the video goes along. But basically, I'm next to the bed that I'm going to be planting some of my leeks, onions maybe, and garlic in. The garlic is something that I want to talk about today. So I want to start getting that in the ground, and I recently got my order from Green Harvest, as I just said. And in here, firstly I did also pick up a few more seeds that I will share with you. I really like Green Harvest seeds because it's a bit more of a local company and I've always had great success with their germination. I did get some more carrot seeds, which I'm going to be planting in a pot and sharing how I do that in another video. I also picked up some more radishes. And before it gets too cool, I want to try growing one more round of cucumbers as well. These are the Space Master variety, which is apparently a very productive bush variety, 90 centimeters across, suitable for growing in containers or by market gardeners. So I'm hoping that that will be a good addition to this area. In terms of garlic, I picked up the Glen Large garlic. So there's quite a few cloves in there that I'm going to need to separate. And I also got something which isn't garlic. It's related to the leek family instead, and that is elephant garlic, which are really, really massive cloves, and I'm a little scared to try this because apparently they bulb up into really, really big bulbs. But yeah, I got some elephant garlic as well. Let me know if you've tried either of those varieties and what your recommendations are. I'm all for knowledge right now, so if you've got any kind of tips on garlic growing, let me know. Although it may be a little late and I may do some things wrong in this video, I'm also learning through this whole process. Right, so the first step of these, I'm going to separate some of these out. So something you want to look for when you're planting garlic is that it's got a really nice healthy white stem here. This indicates that they're not moldy or decayed below. The overall kind of structure is healthy. I'm pretty rough with this, I don't really worry too much, but I just break them all apart. You can plant all of the individual cloves that come out of this, but there will be some really small ones like this one here, even kind of this one here, compared to the larger ones like this one. You can plant them all, but you're probably going to get a smaller garlic from the smaller ones. So I tend to choose the strongest ones, not worry too much about the smaller ones because I do have quite a lot here. Once you've separated them all, you can absolutely plant them straight in the ground, or you can soak them overnight in a seaweed fertilizer just to stem on that kind of germination and growth. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to plant them straight in the ground today. And if you've never planted garlic before, there is a right way to do it, and that is that you want the really pointy end facing up when you plant it in the ground, and this end here that kind of looks where the roots were, this wants to be facing into the ground. Also, you want to just look out if there are any soft clothes. So this one is quite soft, so I'm not going to use this one because it's basically decaying and a little bit moldy, so I'm going to just chuck that one out. Right, time to get prepping this garden bed. I am going to work on prepping it and probably do a voiceover on top of this to share what I'm doing to prepare for the garlic. So I really need to get in there right now and fix it all up before the sun goes down. So the majority of my garden is a no-dig garden, and that's what I try and maintain to keep the soil integrity and to maintain all of the life within the soil throughout my garden. This bed here is a work in progress. The nitrogen and the nutrient levels are quite low. To improve the soil here, I was really gently removing the mulch layer, not getting into the soil layer, so that I can add to that soil layer with some really well rotted poultry manure and cow manure. So that's what I'm laying on now and trying to break up all of the larger bits. Garlic really likes a rich soil that's really well draining as well, and that's why I needed to spend a little bit of time here to break it up. Also adding some garden lime in. Garlic loves a little bit of sweeter soil, so the lime really helps with that, and this organic fertilizer also just adds a little bit of kick to the soil as well to give some more nutrients, just because this is really poor soil around this area, and it's just a work in progress that is going to take probably a few years to get to a level that is sustainable to grow food in without having to add in all of these amendments. I'm lightly forking in these amendments of the manure and the fertilizers. I'm turning it over kind of just a little bit here and there, but mainly I'm doing this to aerate the soil just because the garlic likes a little bit more fluffy soil. Trying to maintain the overall soil structure as I go though. You can see all of the life in the soil there. I'm trying to keep that all there. I don't want that to go away. To plant the garlic, I'm kind of creating these little divots in the soil and channels of which I'm going to be placing the garlic in, and this just allows me to see a straight line where the garlic is going to make sure that I'm not having garlic kind of all over in this different garden bed. Planting the garlic about 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and I'm just placing it into these little channels to see where it goes, to see how much room I have, and then covering them over with the soil that I dug out to make that channel. And then I planted the elephant garlic in the exact same way, and just after I planted all of these, I put a really light layer of wood chip mulch on top. I would use straw or sugarcane mulch if I had any, but I wanted to put some kind of mulch on top just because after this we got a deluge of rain, and I needed the soil to kind of stay where it was a little bit rather than wash away, and the mulch helped with that. With the elephant garlic, I'm planting them a little bit deeper than the other garlic just because they are a larger clove and they need to be fully submerged under the soil. Alright, I am so happy I got that done. Fingers crossed it all works out okay. I've never successfully grown garlic in my life. I'm really hoping that I can get at least something. I've grown it before in not great conditions where I ended up just using the kind of the green part of the garlic that came up, where I made a really delicious pesto with it. So I'll link that video down below if you want to make some pesto out of the green stalk of garlic. So if I don't have any successful garlic, at least I can make some pesto. But fingers crossed they do okay. I'm starting to feel a little bit of raindrops here and there. It's kind of teasing with me. I don't think it'll rain just yet, but I do want to kind of hurry up and do the last few things that I want to get done today. The first is heading over to my tomatoes behind over there, and I'm going to prune some of them because they're starting to get just a little bit crazy, and try and contain them a little bit. And then I'm actually going to pick all of the corn that grew on the plants, so don't be too excited for that because they are so small but I need to pick them anyway so I can get that bed ready for some winter greens and some onions as well. So all of the tomato plants other than this one here are doing really well. This one here seemed to have a little bit of a rough start. It basically kind of got chopped off in one of the storms and it grew back really weirdly. So I'm going to prune it out and give it a little bit of a helping hand and try and create at least 1 or 2 stronger stalks rather than the 10 that it has right now. So you can kind of see something went weird around this area here where it got chopped off. It had some kind of disease or something was just wrong with the plant. The soil had something in it, whatever. I am going to try and save it and trim off some of these just excess shoots that are coming out here. And what I'm going to look for is the strongest one on here, which is this one coming up here, and then take the rest off. Even though they do have some flowers coming with fruit, I'm just going to keep the strongest one. Alright, so that is looking a lot better now. A lot of the stalks that I trimmed off from this one plant are called tomato suckers. It's basically an offshoot which comes out of the main stem of the tomato plant. Tomato plants don't naturally grow upright. They spread along the floor, basically spreading out, and all of the roots form on all of the parts of the stem wherever this is touching the ground, and that's how they naturally grow. But what we're doing here is we're wanting it to produce as much fruit as possible. So we can do that by pruning the tomato, making sure that the undergrowth of the tomato doesn't have a lot of leaves to get a good airflow going. That prevents diseases, and trimming off the different suckers is just going to create an overall stronger plant that you can stake up, have somewhere to tie it to, and get more fruit as well. One cool thing about suckers is that you can actually just propagate it and it'll become a completely new tomato plant. So even on this little sucker here, I could plant the whole thing, or you can see there is another sucker coming out of this one here. It's even starting to fruit on it. If I was to grow another plant from this sucker, I could either plant this whole thing in the ground, or I could even take off this little tiny sucker, probably take off those little flowers and plant this one in the ground too. So pruning tomatoes can be a really fun activity and really beneficial if you want some more free plants. So you can see there is another sucker coming out of this plant here. That's okay, I can have 2 stronger suckers that I can tie up when they grow up. I'm probably going to tie this one just under that sucker there and not tie it really close to whatever stake, just because it's going to rub up against the plant and cause more stress than it needs. All you want to do is just use it as a support. So I'm just going to tie it loosely with about an inch gap, and that'll be fine, just to support the plant, making sure it doesn't fall over in the wind when we get the rain events that we've been having. So the last part of this afternoon before this beautiful rain sets in, I'm going to pick all of the corn from these plants. It really wasn't a great harvest, I'm not gonna lie, so let's just see what we get, and we can have some baby corn, I suppose, with dinner. So these are ridiculous. You know, I have done a lot better. Let's have a little try of one and see if they do taste alright though. So this is sweet corn, and sweet corn is just so delicious when fresh, so hopefully it's nice. There is seriously nothing better than fresh corn. I think I say that about everything fresh that I pick from the garden, but fresh sweet corn has to be up there. So I think that might be it for the garden vlog today. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I get up to in the garden. I didn't really get around to planting the leeks, but I will actually just show you what I'm doing with them really quickly. So I think I spoke about this in another video, but I basically bought a tray of leeks just because the germination on some of the ones that I was growing from seed weren't fantastic, so I ended up just buying a $3 tray. Some of them I'm actually potting them on into bigger pots like this one here, in the hope that they grow bigger in this pot and then I can separate them out into the garden. I'm also going to be planting some of them just singular, like you would usually when you're transplanting leeks, and some of them I'll plant in groups of 3 in the garden as well, prepping the soil pretty much how I prepped for the garlic. So yeah, I'm excited to see which way grows best with leeks. I've also never really managed to grow really large leeks before, but I love putting leeks in soups, so I'm hoping that I can get a few good ones this year. If I can have some space in the garden, I'm going to have to pull all the corn down and then yeah, prep the beds for all of the greens that I have grown and all of the seedlings that are behind me that I will leave you with an image of after I say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching this video. There's always links down below if you would like to support this channel. It takes a long time to think of ideas for filming, film the video, edit the video and put it up as well. So I'm so thankful for any support that I do receive from you all that watch these videos. Even if it isn't monetary support, just by liking the video or commenting or sharing it around, that helps so much to share this knowledge and to get more people growing food and starting their own garden. So thank you all again. I'm gonna go and get cleaned up and yeah, probably go grab a beer or something. It's been a long day. Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye.